It's so easy every day, living in Lubbock, the one and only LBK.
'Cause we got rock and roll, we got the blues, we can honky tonk in our cowboy boots.
And through the dust in the rearview mirror, you can see our rhythm and roots. And through the dust in the rearview mirror, you can see our rhythm and roots. Welcome to another episode of LBK Rhythm and Roots. I'm your host, Jason Robertson. I'm here with lovely Rhonda Taylor, my co-host. Hi, Rhonda.
Thank you. Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing great today.
I'm doing wonderful. I came in a little early here to Me Taco Village and had the enchilada plate, so I'm really, really good
Lucky.
right now. I know.
Lucky.
We are here at Me Taco Village again today. Lily and Loopy are so gracious to have us out and partner with us and let us do some podcast interviews out here. It's been absolutely a beautiful thing to get to do some of these things out here and to eat before I get to do the show.
Yes, you got to come here if you haven't. I'm sure you have been here, but if you haven't, come on out. And there's construction going on, but don't be afraid to come in here. You can get in here. It's clearly marked driveway. You can get in and out, and you will always be so happy that you did.
Great food. They have live music 3 or 4 nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
Be looking on their Facebook
Forever
page.
now. They've done it for
Me
years.
Taco Village New, and they list all their weekly musical artists and shows during the week. They've got specials, couple days of the week, a lunch special. So come check them out. Tuesday is taco, all you can eat tacos. Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
I hear the record is like 24 or 25 as of a couple
I
of weeks
could
ago.
have done that a few years ago.
Is that still the record? 24?
24
Okay.
tacos.
Robert, I think you
Okay,
need
so
to try
come
to
on out
beat
here
that.
and beat that.
Yeah. Today we have somebody who's been playing here a long time. He's been playing around Lubbock a long time. It's a guy that I've admired his songwriting for a long time. He's a true talent, and he's got the sweetest jacket I've ever seen on.
I know.
Mr.
You're
Wade
styling.
Parks is with us today.
How y'all doing?
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
And he brought us some
Thank
swag.
You. Thank y'all. Glad to be here.
Check it.
Yeah. Coin pouch,
Remember these?
koozies,
Put your tips in there.
CDs.
Yeah.
Wade, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good. I'm enjoying the summer. My wife and I are teachers, and we get the chance to have a couple of weeks off, a few weeks off every few months.
How
But
nice.
we're excited to come out, talk music with y'all, particularly getting the right people connected with the right places. That's what I noticed first about y'all's outfit, is that you're doing the right thing, at least
Thank
from
you.
my standpoint.
Thanks.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. Well, I think when Rhonda and I started this, not only do we want to showcase the artists, get to know who you guys are, who we are off the stage, but also spotlight the venues that support us. And I think this one is one of these staples that's been around a long time. If you look around the wall, anybody who's anybody that's played music around here is on that wall.
Yes, sir. I remember seeing that wall over when it was off the Clovis Highway.
Yeah.
Right there when my brother was in town in the late 80s, he said, all you got to do is just go by and order an entree, and you could have all the adult beverages you need. So, well, that's pretty good marketing right there.
Well, that's where I'll be.
Next thing you knew, they had live music. And when they moved out here, it's just, to me, it's been a personal tap into what I discovered, not to go too far historically here, but when I moved up here, there was Scotty's on the outside of town.
Great Scott's,
Stubbs was sort of still on the edge of downtown. If you wanted to go far enough, there were places in Littlefield if you went to the Mean Woman. But these little places that are kind of on the edges, sometimes that's where all the cool stuff seems to happen.
I agree.
Since I've moved here,
Yeah.
so they're doing it right here, and I think since they've expanded out here, it's even more like sitting in your living room and having somebody just say, "Hey, come on, play right here in our dining room," and that's why they
Feels
treat
like
you.
being at
So
a family member's
it
house
is, yes,
or a
ma'am.
reunion or something.
What
Large.
beautiful people
Large.
they are, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, they just love on you.
Yeah.
So
we're
where are
lucky
you
that
from?
way.
You said you moved here. Where are you originally from?
I grew up in the Houston area.
Okay.
But my mother and dad are from Floyd County.
Okay.
They both went to Floyd High School. Dad went to Tech. So when they got married up here, they went down to the Houston area. And I'm the youngest of three. And as the baby, I kind of grew up on these road trips from the Houston area up here for holidays to see Mama and Granny and Sparky and everybody. And I sat in the back of that station wagon, and I caught some really warm floorboard renditions of, Don Williams, some of the Waylon and Willie that was out right then. But to come up here and be really far from home, but close to family, to me, that was great because I had uncles and aunts around this area. But found myself drinking the water in Lubbock, Texas, and I married a gal from out here, and she's fantastic. Stacy takes a lot of time to take very good care of me, and I'm very fortunate to make a home here. And I've been teaching in Lubbock, Texas for 23 years now.
Wow.
It's my other life.
Tell me if I get this right. You're a Spanish teacher in elementary school?
Close, yes, sir. I teach for Lubbock ISD.
Okay.
I teach Spanish to middle schoolers.
Middle school.
But I also teach chess, and I coach in a way that kind of taps into my athletic background. We all grew up with sports, and to me, to get a chance to coach in that respect, and not have to go scout for high school football and do all that, I get a chance to compete, and it's fun. My chess teams do pretty well.
Nice.
But,
You're so well-rounded.
Oh, I can't play fiddle.
Oh, well.
That's everybody's dream, though, in West Texas, man. Play fiddle or mandolin.
But you play that guitar.
Well, I hire people to play guitar. I like to strum around on it, and if the words come out right, that's fine. That's about all I try to worry about.
Well, to start the show, would you like to play us one of your tunes, man?
Sure, I don't mind. We were piddling earlier. I didn't really have a set list ready, but speaking of all the places that I grew up kind of musically going to see, they didn't have that kind of bass. Everybody I knew, when they came out to these little barbecue joints and taco houses by the highway, they would play new stuff first. That's Robin Griffin, that's Carrie Swinney, DG Fluellen, Jane Begley around here. Throw out a handful. So they always played new stuff first. This is about a year old. It's on an EP called Quarantunes del Llano, called Leanin'. Did you hear it? Did you read it? You saw it? Could you believe it? They snuffed another young life out for his darker skin. I heard it, then I read it. I saw it, then I dreaded. The shape we're in now ain't the shape we wanna be in. Summer leaning, they're leaning in. Summer leaning, they're leaning out. Sky goes green, townspeople peek around. Radar hook, it's got an outflow bound. House ribs up, no one cares about the Cubs. To tornadoes, the stuff they all talk about. Summer leaning, they're leaning in. Summer leaning, some others leaning out. Sky goes green, townspeople peek around. Radar hook, it's got an outflow bound. House rips up, no one cares about the Cubs. To tornadoes, the stuff they all talk about.
Yeah, man.
Like that. Okay, you said that was, I'm seeing that over there, that Quarantines de Llano.
Quarantunes del Llano.
Was that
Yes, ma'am.
that was during the pandemic? You were
Yes, ma'am. That's the tail end of it.
awesome.
A lot of these guys I run with, and everybody out there in the music world, a lot of industries froze. A lot of our households kind of froze, but
Yeah.
music kept on pumping. And I felt like, even though I'm sitting on some songs, production wise, that I got a record ready, but those kind of popped up in that little
during that
year,
time.
year and a half, and I felt like, well, if I don't get it out there fast, no one's going to remember what
I
happened.
love the title, Quarantunes del
I know,
Llano.
I love it
2021.
The title is great, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. I can't be the first to use it, but real proud of that little EP. That's a Brian Wheeler photo on the front end.
I was just
That's
about to
his.
comment on that photo.
What
I
studio
really
did you
love
do
that.
this in?
I work with brother Alan Crossland out at Route 1 ACUF.
yeah.
He's
Great,
a
man.
he's a master. He's a psychologist.
He's got an ear like
Essentially,
no other,
I feel
right?
like when I've done records with Alan, it's just going and hanging out with him and playing some songs and maybe going over a couple of parts a couple different times. But
Yeah.
generally, it's just going and hanging out and playing songs.
Well, he's got an incredible ear, man.
And like a friend of mine taught me, if you can do all your practicing beforehand, get in there and do your work. We've been real proud of our products so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
Others have encouraged me to branch out. I'm not afraid to say the 2 times I've started that process, I get reminded to come right back home, and I don't mind it. People might think you could sprinkle a different little look or different editing or different production look, but I love working with Alan Crossland.
Stick with what's good and what's working.
Yes, ma'am.
What you believe in.
I heard Doug
that.
Smith call them ears one time, and I understand why when
That's
you work
right.
with them.
So do you play, I know you play a lot of acoustic. Do you have a full band as well?
Oh, we kind of operate pretty fluidly within solo. I could show up with a trio. Somebody last Friday said, it's fun to watch you because you never know who's going to show up with you.
That's the way we are.
Could
love
bring,
that, though.
Could bring a flute and a violin. Have a bass we could bring along. These records kind of do the same thing. They fluctuate. A lot of it's more acoustic, more broke down in that first record. We've got a big more of a show drum sound on the second album with Curtis McBride. But these days, it's kind of what the room demands or whatever we're feeling. We fit 5 people up here one night, and they let us stay. They didn't kick us out.
I bet it was a great show too.
We
man.
did all right.
Yeah. So did you grow up playing in a musical family? Do you have those kind of roots in your family history? Or are you kind of one of the first? Or
I wouldn't say one of the first, but like I mentioned, sitting in the car, just having it beating through your head is part of it. But my mother and dad both come from mountain families that church always meant music and home and together. But I know from my dad's bunch, anytime my grandparents and my great aunts and uncles were together out here at South Plains, everybody came down. They came from Amarillo. They came up from Odessa. But I recall very clearly great aunts and uncles standing, holding the organ while whoever's got the fastest flourishing, super handiwork on that piano and organ, they're flying away. And I got a whole room full of my eldest relatives singing. I remember that clear as a bell.
I bet that was really cool.
That does. I can
That
picture
wasn't a
that,
monthly
really.
thing. It was enough to where when we did get together, my sister graduated from Tech in '89, if I recall, and that was her party. She didn't want a big bar hopping scene. She wanted everybody to gather out at my
She
grandparents'
wanted the
and they
family
did.
jam.
Oh yeah, and they did. And
Oh, that's
and
so
that was
nice. So
a
how long have
banger
you been? When
indeed.
did you start writing? How long have you been writing songs?
Good question. I fell into this music scene a little bit after I got here. My brother mentioned the old Taco Village that was a little closer to town, and then we discovered places out at Scotty's and Stubbs. I go back to those places because we didn't watch big concerts in Lubbock to get hooked. We went to the places where you thought, oh, we just walked in a little room And it sounds like a concert right here while we're having tacos or brisket. To me, that was between about 94, 95. I got a chance to go to Mexico on a international exchange through tech. And in 96, 97, I fell in love with some of this stuff. My friend Boone Law, and I'll give Boone a shout out, or you can blame him. He was that social connection where a lot of people ask, how do you get started? What do I do? I'll beat you to it. Find somebody that plays what you like and grab an instrument you want to play and do what they're doing. Boone made it real easy. Fell in with a really welcoming group of just folk singers and pickers right here in town. I'm hooked since then. I'd say somewhere in there, I just kind of started finding this is the place that I want to be at when I walk into a Stubbs or a Scotty's or a Me Taco Village. The other people in there are the ones I see at all my other favorite musicians' gigs. So now I notice, wait a minute, either I'm in the right spot or we all are, and that togetherness I think is valuable.
That's a really
So
cool
I'm
story.
hooked
I like
on that, really.
Yeah.
You weren't even doing music before you moved here?
Other than just listening to a big variety. I'll admit I was in on the early days of rap, y'all. We thought some of that was really hot.
Did you
stuff.
sample a little rap for us today?
No, sir. No, sir. But I didn't. I had an ear to sit and pick at a keyboard. About late elementary, middle school, a friend of mine, his parents had to move, and they had a keyboard in their home. I was over there when he was trying to finish his piano lesson, and bless his heart, David Dorsey, he let me do it. I said, "Are you trying to play this? I think I've heard this on the radio," and it was a Music Box Dancer, if I recall. And I said, "Are you doing this?" And I was able to just kind of fake it.
Wow.
He was a little put out with me. But I thought, I think it sounds like this because I've heard it so much on Mom and Dad's. And from there, I learned I could play by ear. So I put that piano in my room. They had to move to Saudi Arabia. And it stayed in my room like through middle school, through early high school. And I didn't go out. I didn't do a lot of stuff. I shot baskets on the driveway. I came back in and I was learning a lot of the just simple chordings to a lot of the 80s stuff that was going on. I couldn't play anything fancy, but other than that, I was just kind of enjoying toying around with it.
Those
Not
are
in
really
front of
cool
people.
stories,
In front
Wade.
of people, I know. In front of people, no.
Like that.
But just kind of making that leap to say, if this is what it sounds like, I wonder if I could make this do that. Some people can read it and look right at it.
Yeah. Me neither. Looks like Greek to me, man.
Oh, you give me a few minutes, I could read a measure.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
So
I work with students that do the sight reading contest, and these are the people that have skills.
Yeah.
They're training these youngsters to just go blank, slate, fresh music. You get 5 minutes, and they play the hell out of it. It's really neat to see.
You know, we did an interview with TTU Jazz Collective.
Oh,
It was absolutely
Oh, yeah.
incredible.
I love them
Those
so
guys, I mean, it was unbelievable.
They were so groovy.
I mean, incredible. And
they
same
speak
thing.
that language.
They
yeah.
do. They speak
Yes,
that
they
language.
definitely speak a
Most of
different
these
language.
cats were doctorate candidates for theory. I mean, it was incredible, really. But how did you figure out you were a songwriter?
Oh, I go back to Boone. My brother Russell introduced us, and it was a sit around on the patio, playing a lot of the songs that he liked to pick just because he had a fake book and he could do a few of the old classics, just old country stuff, but also falling in love with stuff like Robert Earl Keen and Steve Earle, Guy Clark. That's what hooked me.
I love
yeah.
Steve Earle.
Me too.
Yeah.
Big time. So if I'm doing anything that kind of bounces from that sort of not very fancy guitar work to songs that are more just about the words and what they're saying and how they kind of lilt along, that's really more of what I listen for.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like? Would you like?
Because
to
I'm
play
not playing very fancy stuff, y'all.
Oh, it sounds good to me. Why don't you play us another one?
Sure.
It's
I
one of your
wasn't sure what to
favorites.
do next.
Yeah, and while you're deciding a song for these folks watching, Wade has given us some merch today. This is a Wade Parks koozie I have here on my Taco Village tee. Couple of CDs, and the coolest thing I think is the Wade Parks
Yeah, the little rubber coin purse. That's been a hit.
rubber coin purse. I mean,
Yeah.
this is pretty incredible. And you are the first guest who has given us merch, so you are a very special guest.
We
Thank
should
you,
set the
Wade.
tone.
Appreciate it.
Y'all,
That's right.
y'all are terrific hosts. Thanks for
Yeah.
having
Don't
everybody.
be trying to come on here without stuff now.
Yeah.
Well, see,
You set the
we
bar
should
high.
do that now.
sometimes.
You start a cabinet.
That's right.
That's right.
Truly, really, for y'all to put the time forward to push what to a lot of people is just an idea or a thought or a little line. If it comes into a song, somebody puts it on a record, somebody hears it, that's one thing. But I'm not being silly. I'm not being funny. But for y'all to take the time to reach out and to look and filter through and say, hey, let's talk about these things. I can't tell you what it means to me.
Well, thank you.
It goes a long way. So truly, thank you.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of pickers playing a lot of great songs that some people might hear them. If your social group shows up, great, fantastic. But when we live in a town that says, hey, we're going to gather together and you know, I got to dig some places. And I can only imagine all the little circles that you can sift through to get a production like this. So, really, thank y'all. It means a lot.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm gonna play the title track from the first record. Not to overdo the weather songs.
Is this the first record right here that we have?
Tillers is the first one right
All right.
there. Yes, ma'am. But here at the end of June 2023, I had to start with a tornado song. Got dear friends in Matador, Texas. Here's another one about when it rains, it pours. I don't only write weather songs. That cover is my papa and my mother. If you look real
Oh, my
closely,
gosh.
my mama's mother's in the back left behind a stalk.
see it.
There,
Behind the
yeah.
corn
So
there,
there's a
yeah.
few generations there of
What a cool picture.
my mom's bunch. That's out in Floyd County when my papa comes from Oklahoma as a kid, and he just started working with ranchers. Dad fell apart, so he started having a farm something, and that was their very first crop. He had a family he had to do something with, and that was their crop.
Wow,
That's
it
pretty
looks like a
special
good one,
picture,
too.
man. Yeah.
All right.
That's really cool.
If I say it right, I think it was called Hygro. That was the. But I wrote this about those clouds. That happens to be the only part that it's 21st century. Those clouds were photoshopped in. Everything else is clean on that one. But I think the clouds, when they go over us, they're having conversations, y'all. And people live in Lubbock, Texas have seen this for years. The system sifts us over again with one glance down at the canyon brim. They said there's no use, boys, this barren region reaches far away. The wind, it sears and shapes the trees, a bone-dry shrubs taken by mesquite that don't got a chance. We best be on our way. Tributaries need a hand in feeding this forsaken land. But not today, this thirst too hot, so let's dissipate away. Well, down south we'll throw the gates wide open. Up on the cap, they'll still be hoping we've stuck around. Let them swim today. All you tillers of the earth, beware, we're sending out a warning for your kind. Well, there's better answered prayers ahead, and children's wishes way more on our minds. jewels are scarce and they're wasted here. Mesquite's a thief and he lost his fear. Your land's living on them tears are falling from your eyes. So the bowls are busting out again, while those fragile lives hang on the winds of a thunderhead approaching on a bleak October day. Well, perhaps despite them Sunday wishes, we'll fill them gutters and drench them ditches and sit back, my boys, and watch them pray we'd stayed away. All you tillers of the earth, beware, we're sending out a warning for your kind. Well, there's better answered prayers ahead, and children's wishes weigh more on our minds. Well, these jewels are scarce and they're wasted here. Mesquite's a thief and he lost his fear. Your land's living on them tears are falling from your eyes. Hailed out again, well, no yield this year. 80 acres tore up and nobody cares. Your cotton's living on them tears are falling from your eyes. You're hailed out again, well, no yield this year. Your tools are rusted out, nobody cares. Your cotton's living on them tears are falling from your eyes.
Great song, man.
I don't know if I'm being conditioned by just this artwork, but I feel like I'm hearing some kind of like indigenous influence or Native American influence.
Thanks.
In your song styling and your singing.
I take that as a compliment, I suppose. That feather is part of a Dirk Fowler representation. He made that as part of that second record, who just got inducted into the West Texas Hall of Fame.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Thanks. I think that means it's something very bass to me. That sounds grounding to me.
Yeah, I thought that on the first one, and I was going
you.
to say that, but then I was like, oh, well, maybe it's just that song. But now even this one,
probably
I'm like,
just a couple that I play in minors. All the rest is in major chords.
oh, that would be funny if that's it.
So since you've been playing around Lubbock for 25 years plus, man, I mean, obviously Lubbock is a special place for music. I mean, some of our other songwriter friends, they say outside of here, they call this the great incubator, which was interesting for me to hear that. But, there's such great talent that has come from this one spot. What do you contribute it to? The dirt? The wind?
Some friends of mine say it's the lithium in the water. Some go back, and I have before, in that thing about it's too windy to do anything else.
That's right.
I can't help but think, if you go looking for things, you're going to find what you're looking for in general. And if you're looking for something that continues what they have going in Lubbock, you can find it. If you go out in Lubbock and you're just looking for a bar that serves drinks and has big loud music, you can find that too.
That's right.
But I'm proud of this phase of Lubbock music, because all of a sudden, I've been here since '90, and I can say that's 1990, not 18. I can say DG told me when I got here and started playing songs, he goes, "You're going to see this wave. It is a low and a high." But as that roller coaster goes down, generally, you just see less places, less venues. You still have the same amount of people trying to fill what sometimes is a select number of spots. Now you can feel it. You can feel it that Lubbock is on one of these little rises. It's
right.
rising, and you can feel the number of venues that are supporting is back up like it was not long ago. But I'm also seeing there's an increase in the number of people. You're getting a wider variety these days than you just saw about 10, 12 years ago in this town. So to see more venues and a wider variety of what you're going to find, oh yeah, it's going to be incubating. It's going to be bringing out the people that comedian who has a crew that follows them. They're going to come out and they're going to support them, and all of a sudden they're going to go to the next level. There's a Celtic group in town. There is a group in Lubbock that plays chamber music.
Really?
Yes. So it's not all Texas country, whiskey, beers, and pickups.
Yeah, it's pretty diverse,
but really,
man.
it's to me, I think that's a lot of the draw in Lubbock. People think you show up, you go see the Buddy Holly statue, you go to Prairie Dog Town, and you're done.
There you're done.
But if you can get out and find, you can call them holes in the wall. You can call them that. But find the holes in the wall that are doing the things that your social group has located. It's happening in town.
Oh, yeah, for
You're
sure.
right.
It doesn't have to be a restaurant. Some are going into art studios and filling these places up. I got to brag on the First Friday Art Trail there. There's
please
such
do.
a variety. I
Yes.
got to drop them. There's
That needs to be
such a
bragged on.
variety of visual and audio art in this town. You would not believe you're in West Texas.
And what a success that's been. I mean, huge
no
response
kidding.
from the community.
Big time.
I'm so grateful that thing has continued to grow.
Yes, sir.
Because what a beautiful thing that is, man.
We run with the Charles Adams Studio Project people and Chad Plunkett and those guys and Charles. They're so supportive. Anything out at that Friday Art Trail, go do. If we only, I don't know how much time we have to drop names, but the gosh dang farmers market and the art market in this town, Larry Simmons has pushed for art and music to be put in the same spot for neighbors to come out and get together for years.
Yeah, he has. He really has.
So in amongst all the music that y'all are pushing, some of those venues are alternate, not nighttime burger taco places.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's good to remember. That's absolutely
It's-
correct. Yeah.
It's part of what y'all are doing. They just don't always get that shot.
That's right.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
You got another one you can play on there for us?
Sure. I did an old one. I did a new one. That's something in the middle. Here's a title track off the second record. It's called Garden the Old Ways. If we all walked 1,000 miles with a burden so heavy, we'll still wonder how. If we all lived 1,000 lives, would we see the face ahead is the one before us now? Before us now. Oh, cousin, would you hum one with me? We're guarding the old ways with a simple melody. Oh, cousin, would you hum one with me? With a fiddle on the air and a guitar banging out a simple melody. Killer fiddle lead. If we all sang 1,000 songs, would the truly cold and lonely really ever hear the embers dancing, seeking glow in that harmony of an angel army, battling all our fear? They're battling fear. Oh, cousin, would you hum on with me? Oh, we're guarding the old ways with a simple melody. Oh, cousin, would you hum on with me? With a fiddle on the air and a guitar banging out a simple melody. With a fiddle on the air and a guitar banging out a simple melody.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So tell everybody watching and listening where they can get their own rubber coin purse, Wade Parks coin purse.
The little rubber coin purse has been a favorite at wadeparks.com.
Okay.
Check us out. It's a semi-regularly updated merch store. I'll tell you right now, the T-shirts were a big hit. We've sold out of 2 orders of T-shirts. We're using that same Dirk Fowler feather.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those I can run through without speaking to him first. But keep an eye on the website. There's a lot of music links, stuff to different press and bio items. I've been told caps is something I should add to my merch store, so keep a lookout for some trucker caps or something fun.
Nice.
What about my great uncle Woodrow said, you can't sell from an empty wagon, so we're trying to keep that going.
That's right. What about your music schedule? Do you have it posted anywhere where you're playing?
Yes, sir. On wadeparks.com, we keep that regular as far as our postings. I also use Facebook as a music poster, Wade Parks Music on Facebook. It's just a group page. Find me. I have a personal page. I'll add you to it, or just go on and join. Have an Instagram account as well. Those are supposed to be connected, but I'm of the generation where it doesn't always connect. So
yeah, I'm not sure how it
sometimes telling somebody, and then they'll tell their friend. The word of mouth in Lubbock sometimes moves faster than Insta.
Yeah, that's right.
But anywhere you find music, you can find what I've got available.
Okay, perfect.
It's Apple, iTunes, anything. Spotify seems to get a few listeners every month. We add a few. Had some international interest in my first 2 records.
Nice.
I got to reach out to some of those Italian DJs and see if they'll keep going. But there's a guy in Paris
Italy,
that likes
huh?
it, and the guy in DJ in Italy. So wherever they'll have us, we don't mind sharing it.
That's cool, man. So you're going to be going back to the studio sometime soon? Are you about ready to go back? Or what do you
That's
think
funny.
about other album?
Great question. Those 2 are kind of in an order of. My first record was a bunch of new songs and a couple old ones. The second record were a bunch of new songs and a couple of old ones. The third project was all quarantine cluster of content specific, so I had to stay right there. Now my next record, I think I don't know if they're good, but I'm sitting on a few songs where I'd like to go into a retreat that I was invited to several years ago by some big heavy hitters in the Texas music scene.
Nice.
And the big idea was to come away from music retreat with products that show up on records. As a teacher, this is my other job. I don't mind saying I don't run with the bus and the budget and everything to do that. So a good 5-6 years delayed, I'd love to do about a 6 or 7 song collection of co-writes.
Nice.
That's with my dear friend Brandon Adams. I've got some with Ross Cooper, who's a Nashville guy. My guy, dear friend Cleto Cordero. Mm-hmm. He's got a bunch called Flatland Cavalry. I've got several that I'd love to share. Just got to get in, see what Alan's got going this summer.
Yeah.
I should hope maybe by the fall we could have
That'll
something
be a
going.
great album. I'm
Probably
looking
another
forward to
short
that
EP like that. I'm notorious for getting too many on those.
Yeah.
I think one of those has 13 or 15 songs.
Yeah.
I've been told
Full
just
album.
call. You could call it a little bit. I'm like, that
I'll be looking for that one. That's going to be a good
thanks.
one with
Yeah,
those guys.
keep an eye out.
With the co-writes.
Alan's real good generally about coming on in, and again, if you have them ready.
That's right.
You don't have to practice in there
That's
while the
right.
red light's going.
Well, we got time for one more. Can we hear one more?
Sure. Let's see. Sir. ¿En español? El campamento cuarentena. ¿Sí? Otra nueva. Here's another new one. It might be a little hotter on your signal. This is the last song on that EP. It's called Campamento Cuarentena. The quarantine had a lot of perspectives that people were willing to share, but you never saw both sides of the coin. There's another side of that story that not everybody really heard about. So the go-around says this On this side, it's a different life. El campamento cuarentena, acá pasando con mi reina. Virus contra sol de primavera, loco 2020 cuarentena. En esta pandemia no hace nada, a menos que los quehaceres. Pero no me gustan los quehaceres. Esta loca pandemia no hace nada. Ustedes en su lado disfrutan cuarentena. Mira cómo se celebran, como la vida fuera un juguete. Acá en nuestro lado, si no vamos al trabajo, ellos no nos pagan. Es una vida diferente. Ustedes en su lado disfrutan cuarentena. Mira cómo se celebran, como la vida fuera un juguete. Acá en nuestro lado, si no vamos al trabajo, ellos no nos pagan. Es una vida diferente. Es una vida diferente. Es una vida diferente.
Yeah.
That was
All right,
great,
Campamento
man.
Cuarentena.
That was a great
Thanks.
way
It's
to
on the
end
new
it with
EP.
you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Wade, thank you so much, man.
Oh, it's such a joy. Thank
Not
you,
only
Jason.
for being here today, you've helped us on some other things, and
Oh,
we
beautiful.
appreciate the help on that, man. And sorry we couldn't make you work. I know you had other things to do, but we're going to get you back on that show, man.
Well, y'all are so supportive and so flexible to work with us, and I can only imagine what it's like working with a bunch of pickers and singers and
Well,
songwriters, trying to get everybody in the same room.
we're the same kind, so it's a little easier for us to
Just in
deal
the
with
same
it.
room at once is a whole thing.
Right, man.
I appreciate y'all. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
for having
Well, thank
me.
you
It's a
for all
joy.
you
Thank
do, and thank you for what you do for our youth, teaching those little middle school kids. I know
That's
can
important.
be a chore.
Bless their hearts.
That's right.
We know what that means.
Guys, be looking for these episodes to drop every Friday at 5. A new episode will drop on the City of Lubbock's YouTube channel. They'll also drop on My LBK Connect, which is the city's TV channel. And then we also have the audio versions available on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can stream podcasts. So look for those on the Rhythm and Roots Facebook page and on the City of Lubbock's YouTube page. Wade Parks, again, thanks for thanks for being here with us today. And Lily and Loopy, thank you guys for having us here. We appreciate it.
Thank
as
you all
always.
so
You guys
much. It's a
come,
real joy.
come
Thank
eat some
you.
chili rellenos and enchiladas over here at Mi Taco Village, and go see Wade Parks. He puts on a good show.
Thank y'all.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.